In this lecture, Professor A.K. Enamel Haq explains why profit maximization objective may sometimes lead to cheating. What causes it?
In the last class, what I did, I have discussed with you how profit is made. And we had in the last section, if you go back to the discussion, we said profit is basically, let me share the screen so that we can use a board. So I'm going to use this particular board for you. Okay, this is our board. So in the last class, we discussed that profit is equal to revenue minus cost. And we said revenue is equal to P, price times output, minus all the cost. What are the costs? One of the costs is labor cost, which is wage. One of the cost is interest cost, which is the I. And one of the cost is rent, which is the R. So R is rent, I is interest, and this is wages, which means if I want to make profit, in the last class we said, and in economics, profit is defined as pi. So what we mentioned in the last class, if you go back, we said this is the profit. And if you look at this particular profit, we said, okay, we can make this profit. So if I want to maximize profit, then obviously I can raise this part, or I can reduce this part. So for this part I want to reduce, and for this part I want to increase. That was we discussed in the last class. And we said probably price, you cannot change much because it's determined in the market. Even Coca-Cola cannot raise the price alone.
Yes.
So even the strongest company cannot do it. Quantity is something that you produce, but remember, quantity production will also increase cost. Set aside that for a moment. The another strategy, we said you can reduce W as much as you can. And if you can make it to zero, fantastic. All this W goes back to your
Profit.
revenue, eventually to your profit. So if you can make it zero, profit goes up. Similar for interest rate. If you can make interest is zero, all the interest enters into profit. If you can rent zero, all the rent goes into it. So we realize that in terms of the basic logic of production, wages, reducing wages to zero, make it to zero, is not a surprising phenomenon. You and I always see that in the market. Previously, it was slavery, but now it is not slavery. What you will find out that you ask people to work and you don't pay him a full salary. You tell people that you work for 12 hours, but you give him 8-hour salary. I'm giving you the logic that if you want to maximize profit, and will you get it or your owner gets it?
Definitely owner gets it.
Owner gets it. So now you realize that that in order to make your profit higher, one strategy is to make it, and that is why you'll expect government to create law. That is why there are labor law. So why there is a labor law? Because we all know by definition that owners will always try to reduce wages to zero. It's a common practice globally, not just in Bangladesh. So if you look into the labor law, you owners never like labor law. And managers are unfortunately representative of the owner in many cases. And owners often become smart, gives manager a share of the profit, so that he behaves like an owner. So he also have a tendency to reduce wages to zero. Unfair practice, but that is what's going to happen. And this is, to me, is not unpredictable. It's a predictable event. And that is why you will expect more and more labor law, stronger labor law coming up in the economy. Any civilized economy will say, no, I need labor law. And when it comes to labor law, you'll also find out one more issue, which is called trade union. So this is basically, trade union means workers' union. And what is their workers' union's fundamental objective? to protect the right, basically to give them more salary. One of the fundamental problem of the unskilled worker, and I'm giving you the logic beyond economics textbook. One of the problem of the unskilled worker, remember, if the worker is unskilled, then they cannot bargain in an economy which has a surplus labor. So Bangladesh has a surplus labor, and since you have a surplus labor, you always tell, oh, don't want to work, get out. I will find a replacement. So they have, unfortunately, no opportunity to bargain. And that is why you will find out labor law will always recognize trade union. And they will say, look, a civilized country, there should be a labor law with trade union. And many managers, obviously many of you work, you never like it, said, no, I don't want trade union. But trade union is one of the fundamental requirements if you want to protect wages not to go down to zero. Obviously, it never gets to zero, but going down to zero, close to zero, reducing it. And that particular behavior is expected behavior. So economists would always suggest that, look, there should be stronger labor law. Allow the laborers to protect their rights because they are selling a right. What is the right? That I have the power to work and I'm giving my time to you, to your production. As I give my right of work to you, which means at that time when I'm working for you, I'm not working for anyone else, not even for me. So that is why you find out, and that's one of the reasons why you find out increasingly across the world, particularly when online work has come, employers are saying, look, I have a contract with you. When you are working with me, you cannot work with anyone. So a lot of monitoring is happening on this particular strategy, that if I am actually working for someone, at that particular moment, do I shift, do I work for somebody else? Because I bought the right. So when I have given you my right to work, you give me wage because I have lost the other opportunities. There are many other opportunities I'm not using. So one of the fundamental reason that we always say, if I'm selling labor, wage is my right. And for that, and because I'm a weak bargainer, economic theory suggests that there should be a labor law in order to protect the rights of the workers. This is unskilled labor, and when you are depriving them, the labor law is one of the target of laws that said no. Labor law should be there. Trade union rights should be there. That's why you find out all the problems with the garments industry. All the countries across the world is saying no. The workers should have the right of trade union. We don't like it in Bangladesh for a different reason. The reason is our workers' labor unions often is not the labor union, it's a political union. They go beyond the labors. They have other motivation, and that is why we don't like it in Bangladesh. However, remember the requirement of the labor law. Next issue that comes is that interest. You take money from the bank, and in the last class we also talked about it. We said if you take money from the bank, we often walk away with the money. Not to forget about interest rate. We do not want to give back the principal. Answer is, what is the bank doing? So think about the bank. Bank gets deposit, and bank then lend the money. So if the lenders do not return the money, what will happen to the depositors? Their deposit will be gone. If the bank is in trouble, do not expect you will get your deposit. It's a mistake to understand, to think about that, you will get the deposit. What I mean, and let me be clear on this, that if a bank cannot recover the money from the lenders, your deposit, they cannot return the deposit, they cannot print money. So what they do, they will say, I cannot give you money. Then it's not an unlikely event. It has happened in Bangladesh. It will happen again. The maximum guarantee that you have, according to my understanding, you will get 1 lakh taka return. So if the bank declares that I do not have money, highest amount you will get is 1 lakh. Same, see, idea, you have to understand the logic of this economic system. Banks do not create money. In other words, they do not print money. They give the money. They give the money because depositors deposit the money from their savings. From our savings, I deposit money to the bank. Bank gives money to an investor, and so they invest. Okay. Now, investors should make profit. And in order to make profit, the interest should be their cost. But in order to increase their profit, they forget about all this. So everything goes to their pocket. So it goes to the investor's pocket. If it goes to the investor's pockets, nothing comes back to the bank.
Depository.
So eventually, bank will declare that I am bankrupt.
Bankrupt.
Yeah. Watch carefully nowadays. Many of the banks in America is declaring bankruptcy. If you watch carefully the current scenario, banks are declaring that. That will be the first strategy. Because once the economy is in trouble, you have to, and we'll discuss some of them in macro, not now, but I'm just raising this for you, that once the banks are in trouble, depositors are in trouble. Now, depositors in most cases are normal people, and they have no idea what they're doing. And the highest amount that we actually return out of our, according to Bangladesh law, Bangladesh Bank said, I will give you 1 lakh taka. And that's the highest amount we'll give. Anything beyond this, your risk, because you have trusted a bank without knowing what is the bank looks like. So when the investors do not return the money, it eventually goes, come back to the depositors. Bank owners are protected. If I'm a bank owner, I don't pay the money because all the banks has a limited liability. What is the limited liability? Heard about limited liability in company law? What is limited liability? Limited liability means my liability is limited. So my liability is limited by my share. In a company, I have a share. So if there is a limited liability, I lose my share. That's it. That's it. You cannot take anything. So if a bank goes into bankruptcy, they will be simply saying that I have a limited liability. Remember, how much is their share? Remember their paid up capital initially. So they gave a paid up capital. And what was the paid up capital? Some people will say I gave 100,000, 1 crore taka. That is his liability. So the people, unfortunately, who are not protected is depositors. A lot of people don't understand that depositors are not protected. My objective was to discuss that how the banking system operates and why we as an economist should not say that, oh, I don't expect a bank and an investor not to give the money. You'll find out Bangladesh Bank create regulators. Sometimes they appoint regulators. Have you seen? Government banks are appointing regulators. Bangladesh Bank will say, forget about your MD. I'm appointing someone because I want to take over because I see that you are not behaving properly. And it requires a very strong governor. It requires a governor to say, look, if you do not behave properly, I'm going to take over because my job is to protect the depositors, the normal depositors. I'm not supposed to protect the owners. Owners are protected by limited liability. So a lot of time, that's why banking law exists, and the Bangladesh Bank's job is to do this. The third point, which is rent. You have seen the Regent Hospital case, that the owner was occupying the building, not paying rent to the lawful owner of the house. So the hospital is basically, smartly done. Why? How smartly it is done? It is done that I have to remember my profit, so I do not give the rent. If I do not give the rent becomes my profit. So rent is, not giving rent is a strategy, and Regent case is a perfect example who did not do it, which you have seen in this particular. It's always a common behavior. What you need in this case, a law and order, a legal institutions in the country, that if I give you a rent in my house, you have no choice but to give me your, if you have to give me rent. That is, if you say that no, I do not want to give the rent, answer is it was a misinvestment for me. Why did I make this house? You'll find out, for example, Dhaka's crisis is small apartment. Why they don't do it? Because this is where there is a tendency in the country to use rent control. You expect government to control the rent. And since you expect government to control the rent, people will be smart not to invest in a smaller apartment. They say, forget about it. Government is going to control me. On the other hand, government will never control the bigger apartment because these are for the richest. So I'm giving you your policy technically tells everyone what to do and what not to do. My point at this moment is very simple. I'm trying to say, look, if I'm looking at the economy, I can see what is going to happen. So the three issues that we got it with that, yes, I can increase my profit, revenue minus wage minus interest minus rent, and I can say that if possible, if these can be zero, I get everything. Everything comes into my pocket. Economic theory, that's why I suggest there should be a legal regime under which you can protect the rights of the owners. Remember in the last class we talked about ownership.
Ownership, yes, sir.
Yes. So if you do not protect the owner, remember in each case there is an owner who is selling their right. If I have working power, I'm the owner of my labor. And I'm telling you that I will work for you, you have to give me the wage. So it's my logical, legal right because I'm transferring ownership to you because I will work for you. Same, I have the money, I'm giving my money for you to invest. Now, bank is an institution in between because I don't know who is getting the money. So if I give my money to you and if in the end of the day, the bank comes back to you and said, look, I cannot give you interest rate. Answer is then somebody else is taking over my property because he got the investment and he took over the profit out of it. Okay? Remember, these are the markets that we have not. See, we live in Bangladesh where the markets are only for a limited product. But you think about an economy and the economy is going to become complex and complex over time. So if you look into the economy and say, what are the different products available? Answer is there are many products. There are many insurance that we have never seen.
Right.
Over time, there will be many more products. And this is why the good insurance company should come and good regulator should suggest that, look, if you are a bank, you better buy an insurance. So if you go to the history, I give you the history to understand a little bit of insurance history. In 2008, the first company during the recession, the first company to become bankrupt is Alico, American life insurance company. Why they became bankrupt? Because banks bought insurance against their investment. If the investment is wrong, it may be wrong because of wrong investment. It may be wrong, the economy went into bust. And if that is the case, investors will not be able to return the money. So the banks will claim on the insurance company. And the first one which is going to declare bankruptcy around the world, where the insurance market is very active, is the insurance company. So when insurance company call for bankruptcy, you should realize the economy is in trouble, is major trouble, because insurance company bankruptcy means they understood that claims are bigger than what they thought about it. So total premium income and total liability payment, once liability payment becomes higher and higher, because this number has changed. And if that has changed, obviously insurance company will declare bankruptcy. So remember, it's a very difficult scenario around the world, not just in Bangladesh. Okay, and that helps central bank to become relaxed and say, look, I'm not worried about it. If you do not enforce this particular scenario, something else will happen. You will find out people will expect central bank to control everything. And the more you want to control, the more difficulty you have. The difficulty is it's not easy to control a banking system. Central bank cannot go into every single investment decision made by a bank and say, I want to know what is happening there. That will be like central bank running a bank. So to me, it is not expected that central bank is going to say, I'm going to look into every single investment, and something that you have seen in the past. So coming back to, yes.
Sir, savings certificate, which is a product of Central Bank, Bangladesh Bank.
Oh, okay, good.
But we can purchase it. We used to purchase it from different public limited banks or private banks, as there is an offer. Suppose I bought a savings certificate from a Standard Chartered Bank, and unfortunately, after a year, I bought it for 3 years. But after a year, the bank collapsed. In that case, who will repay the amount that I have given to a Standard Chartered Bank to buy savings certificate of Central Bank?
Answer is very simple. You did not really, your bank is a mediator in purchasing. It's a service they gave, but bank is not selling it. It is still the central bank who is selling it. And so you don't have a problem, because as long as the government is not bankrupt, remember the next question, we'll talk about all this in macroeconomics. As long as the government is not bankrupt, fine, government will return the money. Right? Because it is a purchase, not, bank is an agent here. You purchase from the government a savings certificate. It's written that Ministry of Finance or government, Treasury, has taken your money, and after 5 years, it will give you an interest. Okay, our issue is that we now realize that you can make profit by depriving others. That is what we understood from the theoretical logic, that as long as you are the owner, there is a possibility that you can deprive others. And the others are owners of land, owners of capital, and owners of labor. So there are 3 groups you can deprive. And you can say these 3 groups, their income I can take over if there are not enough laws. So to me, and this is an important point, as an economist, I should not get a surprise when this happens in an economy. It is not unexpected that people will take over property without giving rent. And whose property they will take over? Anyone who is weak in the society. He cannot speak much. I am powerful, I will take over your property. And that's something very common in many societies. Anyone who is a weak labor, I will say, look, you don't have a bargaining power, I'm going to take over. Right? Anyone, any bank who is in trouble or weak management of the bank, maybe I'm the owner of the bank, or maybe my friend is the owner of the bank. Remember, central bank creates a lot of law to protect it, but it does not work. Central bank made a law that you cannot take loan from your own bank. But then I create friends. Friends take a loan for me, right? Or I have a friend owning another bank, so I go to his bank, and he comes to my bank, and we pay back each other. So there are all these strategies exist. When I'm saying all this, my point is that as an economist, should never get a surprise. These are rational human behavior. We don't like it, but these are rational human behavior. It only points out weak legal structure in an economy.